Like all last year. My personal experience.
Yeah. What up, Tony? What up, Tony? What up, Tony?
Most people just don't want to deal with them because on average, they just are not good, genuine people to be around. They're good to look at. They're good to work in brothels. They're good to, try to take over a bar. They're good when they're handing you food as they're a waitress or they're on a call center call or something like that. But anything other than that, we really don't want 85% of y'all around. Just leave.
So yeah, let's do this.
Like, it's sad to say.
Thanks for stopping by.
Reality on.
Everybody hit the like button. Yeah, so yeah. If y'all want me to stay on 2 hours, I'm looking to meet a $15 live stream goal. Cash App and PayPal will be at the top of the chat, also in the description. Or you could do super chat, super sticker. That's the dollar symbol on the right of the chat box. Whatever you can give is greatly appreciated. $5 makes you the live stream sponsor. Wait, did I say that already? Whatever. Hey, follow me on Dating Dysfunctions. That's my regular channel. This is just my live stream channel. I'm about to drop that link in the chat too. And if you could join the membership, it would really help the channel out. Just hit that join button on the main video page. $5 a month gets you 8 videos a month. Exclusive. Follow me on Rumble too, because I can get kicked off YouTube any day now. Let me drop the Rumble link. Shout out to all my Rumbleites watching. Appreciate you. All right. Let's just get into it.
Experience is definitely the pool is my personal experience is definitely the pool. My personal experience is definitely the pool is smaller for a lot of different reasons, right? Like I feel like there are a lot of things about me that are just like very extreme. Like, it's not like she just went to an Ivy League school. She went to Harvard. It's not like she just went to one Ivy League school. She went to two. It's not like she's just, doing whatever. She's a lawyer. It's not like she's got like, 5,000 followers on Instagram. She's got 400,000, it's like, what, like, it's like, whoa.
Okay. Yeah. We can tell she's in love with herself. Yeah, we can tell she's definitely in love with herself. She's full of herself. She's an egomaniac, a narcissist, the whole nine. There's no room for a man in her head. Her ego's too big. It doesn't sound like there's any room for a man in her life. He would have to play the secondary role, and no man with nuts is gonna do that. And she want a man with nuts. Alpha women want a alpha man to out alpha their alpha, and it just ain't gonna happen. So yeah, let's just continue.
Like, it's like, what, like, it's like, whoa. Hold on. Right. I have an awareness that can be overwhelming for some, and it's not going to be for every man. Even if, like, I've been in situations also where I'm like, this person is drawn to me. They like me more than they thought they would because, I think they hear all of those things on paper and they think, I'm not even going to like her because she's going to be stuck up or whatever. And I'm like, actually pretty chill. And they're just like, dang, like, what? And it still can't work because it's like, oh, but you
know, for somebody who graduated from 2 Ivy League colleges, she sure does say like a lot. Is something missing here? Am I missing something here, folks? Okay, for somebody who also graduated from 2 Ivy League schools and got 400,000 subscribers and followers, and I'm sure making good money, your hair and like the beady beads, you know what? Never mind. I don't know. I would expect more. I just would expect more from your hairline and your hair, being so prestigious and all. You coming on a podcast with this mess on your head. I'm being petty, but I'm just saying. If you're gonna talk that talk, you gotta walk that walk and look that look.
what? And it still can't work because it's like, oh, but I don't know how to feel about walking into a room and people are like, oh my God, hi, I love your content. Or like, oh, like, I love her, her, da, 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 da. Like, it's a lot. It can be a lot. And then also in the way that I show up in conversations that I might sound smart or, be able to pick apart their argument unintentionally. It's just.
See, here we go. She's not so chill after all. You see how they lie? She just said she was chill a minute ago. Now she talking about she just said she was chill a minute ago. Now she talking about picking apart people's arguments. Which one is it? That don't sound chill at all. Hold on, bear with me. I need to do something real quick. But and she's talking about even though she meet guys that she vibe with and they vibe with her, they don't like that everywhere they go, people coming up to her talking about I love your work and this and that. Yeah, I mean I'm trying to have a date with my lady. I don't want people keep approaching. I don't want people to keep approaching.
Be able to pick apart their argument unintentionally. It's just what I went to school for 3 years to do. And so for me, I'm fine with that, because in the times that I've tried to force it and been like, no, like I promise it won't be an issue. Like in the times where I'm just like, it's only an issue if you make it be an issue because it's not an issue for me, it has still been an issue. The income piece as well. And I always say, like, I don't want a man who makes more than me or who makes just as much as me so that he can like take care of me. Like, that's not what I want. If he does, great, fantastic. I just don't want to be resented, right? Like, I don't want my life to be full of bad vibes because this person is like
full of bad vibes,
you know, because this person is like, I can't keep up with her, or I'm not able to give her things that she can give her. I'm like, I just don't want that, right? Yeah. Take care.
Okay, let's take it slow. See, and this is why female success is, oh gosh, and this is why female success is a joke. They go out and become these highfalutin whatevers just to still want a man to come in and take care of them financially. Ideally, you could have been a waitress and you could have been a waitress and got that. Because she's trying to say the only reason she wouldn't be with a guy that make less than her is he would resent her. No. You would resent him. There's plenty of men who would be totally comfortable with you making more than them. You wouldn't be comfortable with it. So she's looking for the same top 0.5% man. Gosh.
Because this person is like, I can't keep up with her, or I'm not able to give her things that she can give her. I'm like, I just don't want that, right? Yeah. Take care of me, sure, fine, fantastic, but you just can't be grumbling here because you think I'm doing better than you and you resent that, and therefore you take it out on me. Yeah. So that's the main reason. And as a result, like, because, you know, I might want to date black men, I might want to date someone within a certain age range or whatever, it looks like the pool is a little bit smaller.
It's tiny.
Yeah. And listen, man, we leave it up to God's plan at that point, because what can I do? But I live a very full life. Might want to date someone within a certain age range or whatever. Therefore, you take it out on me. Yeah. So that's the main reason. And as a result, like, because, you know, I might want to date black men, I might want to date someone within a certain age range or whatever, it looks like the pool is a little bit smaller.
It's tiny.
Yeah. And listen, man, we leave it up to God's plan at that point, because
Yeah, it's cute to say that now. You're still fairly young. You still getting deed down by a certain type of guys who won't give you commitment. I mean, it's easy to say that now, but you know, 30, 35 to 85 is a mighty long time. Here's what she's not mentioning. She's been failing on the dating market for 20 years. She's been trying to date boys and guys in the process of graduating Ivy League schools for a long time, and it's been not working out. And it hasn't been working out. Sorry about that. I'm back. So she wants us to believe that the only reason why she isn't in a successful relationship right now is because she's been focusing on school and men are intimidated. That's not why. She's been making time for guys and men this whole time. And it's been failing because she's not relationship material and she's not feminine and she's not willing to compromise anything and she wants it to be all about her. And she's not willing to compromise anything and she wants it to be all about her. She's selfish, she's egotistical, and she's not feminine. That's why she's been failing on the dating market. Not degrees, not careers.
Um, and listen, man, we leave it up to God's plan at that point because what can I do? But I live a very full life.
What up, though? Welcome back to another Media Man video. Thank you guys for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed that video and the intro. That comes by the way of the Afropolitan podcast, and their guest was Instagram sensation Any Given Sunday. You guys can follow her on Instagram, TikTok, all of her social media platforms. But the reason why I decided to review this video is because, for one, I did promise the black women on my platform that I would start doing some long form videos directed towards and for black women. So I think this is a great jump off to start that series, because I noticed something in social media. Every time a successful black woman speaks on her dating struggles, the conversation almost always goes in the same direction. It turns into people making jokes, saying that they don't care about a black woman's education or how well she's doing in life. It turns to criticism or people acting like her success is the problem. Because the truth is, there is nothing wrong with a black woman being successful. There's nothing wrong with a black woman being educated. There's nothing wrong with a black woman being educated, making good money, and building a life for herself.
Okay, yeah, I agree. Let's just go there. I totally agree because there's plenty of women, black women, who are successful, have highfalutin careers, fancy degrees, and they go home and they're a woman to their man. They take care of the kids, they rub their man's back, they play both roles. At least good enough to maintain a relationship. They're still probably hell on wheels too, but they're good enough to still maintain it and have a husband and maintain a family. It doesn't mean they're good women. Doesn't mean they're likable women. But they're good enough to have both the career and the family. So I agree. Jobs and careers and degrees don't stop you from having a family, but being a shitty human does. being a bad romantic partner does.
Educated. There's nothing wrong with the black woman being educated, making good money, and building a life for herself. That should never be the issue. But what we don't do enough is actually break down these situations in a way that leads to real solutions. Sometimes we either dismiss it or we oversimplify it, and then the conversation ends up going nowhere. So I want to approach this a little bit differently, not from a place of mockery, because that is not what I do on my platform, and not from a place of frustration, but from a place of understanding and trying to find real solutions. And before I go any further,
Let's. That's a crazy picture. She shouldn't have posted that one, or maybe she should have used AI on it. I don't know. Anyway, okay, what is the solution? The solution for her would be a lot of therapy and getting off her high horse and understanding the value of a man outside of money and status, and figure out a way to actually appreciate that genuinely. I'm not holding my breath for any of those things, but let's see what he says.
a place of understanding and trying to find real solutions. And before I go any further, I want to acknowledge Any Given Sunday and congratulate her. Earning 2 Ivy League degrees, becoming a lawyer, and building a strong social media platform for yourself, that is not normal. That is elite level discipline and execution.
And here's why we shouldn't give a fuck about any of that. He's right. It's elite level discipline and execution. But how does that contribute to the family? It can contribute to the family. But this is why I always say I don't support female success when it's not contributing to a family. Now, one day it might contribute to a family and then I'll congratulate her, but not a second before. Not a second before.
Sunday and congratulate her. Earning 2 Ivy League degrees, becoming a lawyer, and building a strong social media platform for yourself, that is not normal. That is elite level discipline and execution. And it's always good to see a young black woman thriving at that level. And
Why, Medium Man? Why is that good to see, Medium Man? Can you tell me that? Can you go in depth? Why is that good for society? Can you break that down, Medium Man? I'm just having fun with you. It ain't no beef. We just having a good time. Why is that so great to see? Another egotistical black woman who think her shit don't stink, who probably won't couple up because she has too many irreversible flaws, possibly. Another potential semi-famous, accomplished black woman who won't start a black family. Why is that a good thing, Medium Man? Maybe he'll explain.
always good to see a young black woman thriving at that level. And for women like you, I genuinely want to see you get everything that you're aiming for, especially if that includes marriage and building a family. So I just wanted to let you and to the other black women who fit into this small category, this video is coming from a place of respect and in good faith. So congratulations to you all. And as an older married black man, if there is any way I can provide perspective that helps you and other black women in similar positions, then that's what I want to do with this video. So
See, let me say this. I'm not so quick to congratulate a man on his success because it's like, okay, cool. You got money and degrees. What kind of human are you? Are you contributing to a family? Do you give to charity? It's other things that I consider other than, oh, I just got so much respect for this dude because he's so accomplished. Nah, I don't work like that. My respect isn't that easy. Not that anybody gives a fuck about what I respect, but I'm just saying. What are you doing with your success? Who are you helping? How are you making the world a better place? I don't think the world would be better with more female leadership and more female power. I think it's going to get worse the more that women get power and success and get put in leadership roles or earn leadership roles, whatever, either way. Female empowerment, in my philosophy, is a cancer to society. So that's why that's why I can't celebrate it. I won't encourage it. Nothing like that. Unless she's under the manhood, unless she's under the program of a decent man and contributing to a family, then I'll champion it.
That helps you and other black women in similar positions, then that's what I want to do with this video. So again, blessings to you all, and hopefully this video helps. Now, I want to start here because I think this is the most important thing about this conversation. In your video, you mentioned that you prefer to date black men. That might make your dating pool smaller. And I understand why you might feel that way. But in order for us to have an honest conversation about this, we have to root it in data and not perception. The most recent Pew Research data shows the black population in the United States is about 49.2 million people. When we isolate adults, that gives us roughly about 18.5 to 18.7 million black women and about 17 to 17.2 million black men. So yes, there are more black women than black men overall, roughly about 1 to 1.5 million more black women. But when we apply the same filters, single, never married, earning $100,000 or more, and having a bachelor's degree or higher, the numbers shrink significantly for both groups. And when you break it all the way down, you're looking at roughly about 120 to 140,000 black women and about 130 to 150,000 black men nationwide who meet those same criteria. So
Yeah. And what do we always say? Mr. 0.5. It says right there, 0.5% to 1% of all black men meet this criteria. But here's the thing, you got to compete for Mr. 0.5. You're not entitled to him. And Mr. 0.5 Mr. 0.5 who has never been married, make 100K and got a bachelor's degree or higher, he ain't looking for that in his woman per se. He usually isn't. Because that usually come with competition. And her thinking, well, I ain't got to listen to what you say. I got a degree from Harvard. Men don't want to deal with that. So really, you being his equal on paper is putting you at a disadvantage, not in it. So really, you being equal to him on paper is putting you at a disadvantage in the competition for his heart, not putting you at an advantage.
thousand black women and about 130 to 150,000 black men nationwide who meet those same criteria. So even though there are more black women overall, there is still a slightly higher number of black men who meet those specific standards, which means this is not a situation where choosing black men automatically puts you at a disadvantage. If anything, you're operating from a position that is balanced and slightly in your favor. And this is why
You still got a lot to learn, Smedian, man. If you think that a woman having a certain amount of money and degrees put her in a better position to win the competition for the most rare man on the dating market, look, you just don't get it, man. You just don't fucking get it. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm sure there's some. Look, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. Because they say most people who are prestigious date other people who are prestigious. So maybe I'm wrong. But here's what I'll say. it's still a competition. So even if it's true that most top 5% men want to date a woman who got something going on for herself, he still want the most feminine, pretty, cooperative option of those women who got something going on for themselves. So she still won't measure up. Matter of fact, let me just Google something real quick. Okay, so I was wrong. I was wrong. Okay. It says high income men, 100K plus, tend to marry or date women with similar educational and income levels, a trend known as assortative mating. While high achieving men frequently prefer equal wait, while high achieving men frequently prefer equally high achieving peers, a significant number of the relationships still follow traditional patterns where men out earn their partners. Okay, so let's just say a 100K man would date a 70K woman. Fine. But yeah, men still want the traditional setup, no matter what way you cut it. So even if she a lawyer or whatever, he still want her to be a traditional woman to some extent at home. And these women yapping on podcasts, not that, regardless of where they graduated. See, but this is a contradiction. This the information that I pulled up says while high earners often pair with other high earners, the spousal income gap is still wide. So is she really still on his level then? Like, you know what I mean? Whatever. See, I would love to break it down. Um, let me look this up. Do most high earning men find their partners in their 20s? Let me see. Are most high earning men in America married to a woman they've been with since at least early 30s? Okay, hold on. When do most high earning men meet their wife? Let's put it like that. Yeah, exactly. High earning men frequently meet their wives in their late 20s to early 30s, often after establishing their careers. Often after establishing their careers, typically between age 28 and 32. They tend to marry peers, highly educated, ambitious women, rather than focusing solely on youth, often selecting partners in their mid to late 20s. You hear that? Yeah, their peers in their mid to late 20s. So let's be real. If most high earning men are getting married between 28 and 32, I'm pretty sure they're not getting married in 3 to 6 months. It's probably a year or two at least. So yeah, 30 really is that cutoff. Let's just say 32. That's about to be my new hard line cutoff. If you single and 33 as a woman, it's looking rough, real rough for you locking down some high value man. I mean, you can still get a man, but a high value man after 32 is looking very, very unlikely. Matter of fact, let's Google that. What are the chances that a woman is going to marry a high earning man after the age of 32? Okay, let's here. Okay, I found something. Okay, it says some estimates suggest that the overall chance of a woman marrying a rich or high income man, someone considered financially stable or earning over 100K, is relatively low, with some estimates putting the probability around 11% and marrying a millionaire or billionaire around 5.1%. And then you also got to consider, okay, what age group is that 11%? For women over 30, the chances of getting married in general decrease, partly because many high earning men in their age bracket are already married. However, high income men are more likely to be recycled in the marriage market if they divorce, meaning they are more likely to remarry. Okay, AI, can you calculate something with all available data? Can you calculate how likely is it for a 35-year-old never married woman to marry a man for the first time who makes 100K or more? Okay, finding a first-time marriage partner at age 35 with a high chem is complex. It's a low probability, but let's see if we can get a number.
There's still a slightly higher number of black men who meet those specific standards, which means this is not a situation where choosing black men automatically puts you at a disadvantage. If anything, you're operating from a position that is balanced and slightly in your favor. And this is why I want you and women like you to understand and actually celebrate how rare you are when it comes to those accomplishments, because 99% of black women have not reached all of those milestones yet. So, a woman like you who is highly educated, high earning, and without children, you're not stepping into a disadvantage. You're actually stepping into a very specific, highly selective pool that actually aligns with your situation. Now, let me be clear. None of this is to tell you who you should date. By all means, go where you're loved, respected, and appreciated. But if we're going to have this conversation honestly, we have to acknowledge that the issue is not the absence of qualified black men. Let's zoom out for a second, because when we compare the black community to other racial groups in the US, yes, the percentages for income and education are lower overall.
Okay, I figured out a number, y'all. Thanks to AI. Shout out to AI. It says the probability of a woman marrying for the first time after the age 35 to a high earning man is approximately 2.15% to 5.67%, depending on the specific definition of a high earning and the woman's own income bracket. So let's just say it's a 2 to 5% chance. And that's just considering his income. That's not considering how tall he is, if he emotionally intelligent, and all that other crap. You know, if he like puppies and stuff and watch The Notebook. So by the time we do all that, because we know money is not the only requirement these women have. They got at least 5 other non-negotiables. So it's less than a 1% chance that it's gonna happen. And by the time your dating market is less, by the time your dating standards is less than 1% chance, just give up. or drastically change your standards.
Yes, the percentages for income and education are lower overall when combined outside of the Hispanic community. And that's a broader structural conversation. But within the black community itself, the numbers between black men and black women at this level are very close. Oh, and another thing that needs to be said, just because black men are not always as vocal or visible about their accomplishments like black women, that does not mean they aren't there. And that's why the data matters, because it actually separates perception from reality. Now, for this,
So yeah, she's about 31. Yeah. She's about 31. So really, she got another year or two to make something happen for real, for real. I'm not gonna hold my breath. I don't think she's getting off her high horse. So she gonna be another Kendra G, another fucking she gonna be another Kendra G, another Vivica A. Fox, another Lisa Ray, another old hag lost in the sauce. Pastor Prime, Pastor Prime, and refusing to accept it.
and that's why the data matters, because it actually separates perception from reality. Now, for this segment, I actually want to bring in an example, and I want to use a popular content creator in these spaces. When you hear someone like Kendra G talk about not wanting to get married because she doesn't want someone taking half of what she built,
I could totally be in a committed relationship with a man that makes less than me. I wouldn't sign a marriage certificate though to him.
Why?
You would
Because I'm not risking my assets. Like
What about the prenup?
prenup.
Prenup, yeah. Okay, first of all, y'all actually have money. I wish y'all stopped. People learn one word and use it for every back end. I know people who have had prenups and still
And it's went awry.
had to give money. I know people that have prenups and the other person cheated and they still had to give money and it wasn't even their fault that the relationship ended.
Damn, I mean, look. After 25, 30, love isn't on the table anymore. That's why I say dating is over for women over 30. If you get lucky, cool. But the general rule is it's over after 30. You failed. Like, honestly, any woman who didn't meet their partner until after 30, even if it worked out and they had a beautiful family and marriage, if I had to say if she failed or succeeded on the dating market, I would still say she failed. Generally speaking, she failed, but she got lucky. I mean, a win is a win. I get it. A win is a win. True. But there's an asterisk by her name if we talking about the game of dating and love and who won and who lost. Okay, I'm just being goofy.
Still had to give money and it wasn't even their fault that the relationship ended.
what you're seeing is actually her perspective changing. Now she's thinking like a high earner. She's thinking about risk and she's thinking about protection. And that's the same position high earning men have historically been in. And this is where I want to introduce something very important, because what you're describing right now, your situation and your position, there's already a real world example of how this plays out. And that example is Kendra G. Now, let me be clear. Kendra G is successful, established, financially secure, and well known. So by all traditional metrics, she made it. But here's the other side.
No, well, she made it as man. She didn't make it as woman. She's a high value man in a woman's body, not a high value woman. I got that term from AD. She's a high value man in a woman's body, not a high value woman. Look, here's the thing. Kendra, you know you wouldn't date anybody who makes less than you. So this whole argument about not getting married to this and that, look, you need to just stop talking about dating because you can't keep a man to save your life regardless of if he rich, poor, or otherwise. So, maintain a 5-year relationship and then come back and talk about something.
side of that reality. She's not married. She's not building additional metrics. She made it. But here's the other side of that reality. She's not married. She's not building a family. And at this stage, she's openly said that she is not prioritizing marriage. And the reason why I use Kendra G as an example is not to criticize her. She actually serves as a mirror. She represents a projection of a possible outcome because the same traits that helped her succeed, independence, career focus, high standards, are the same traits that make partnership harder over time. And I know you're not there yet, but I think it's a good thing that you're asking these questions right now because you being so young, you still have time, you still have flexibility, and you still have options. So this isn't me saying you're going to end up like Kendra G. This is me saying this is one possible outcome if nothing changes. And if you actually look at
Well, yeah, here's the thing about Kendra G. At I don't know. I don't even think she realizes. I hope she's investing, is what I'll say. Because like Divine Photos just said, if people stop supporting Kendra G, she's cooked. Versus the other lady who's a lawyer or something, she's not cooked. If everybody stopped, supporting her brand on Instagram, she still has something to fall back on. Kendra will have to try to get a radio job, and I don't know how many people are falling over themselves to get a new 50-year-old radio journalist or whatever you call it to talk gossip and bullshit. Because I mean, if you're gonna get somebody to talk gossip and bullshit, I'm gonna get a 23-year-old to do it, 25-year-old to do it, maybe even a 35-year-old to do it, not a 50-year-old. So I hope Kendra is investing, because if she ever mess up too bad, or if the Kendra brand fall off, she doesn't really have any real world skills to be in the position she's in now. Now, I'm not going to say she's a fraud. I mean, she got lucky. I don't want to say luck. It's partially luck. I'm not trying to downplay her accomplishments. But essentially, she got lucky. And let me not, you know what? I don't want to word it like that because she put in the work. I'm not taking away the work she put in because they say luck is preparation and what's the words or what's the saying? Luck is working hard and preparation and putting yourself in the best position to capitalize on luck or something like that. There's other things that go into, getting on based on luck. It's not just pure luck. She definitely put the work in and she came up with the idea to do the show. So shout out to her for that. I'm not mad at her because she's successful. What I'm trying to say is she didn't build success in a way that's damn near unbreakable. If that makes sense. And some people have. Anything with this social media shit is finicky.
you're going to end up like Kendra G. This is me saying this is one possible outcome if nothing changes. And if you actually look at Kendra G's outcome and say, you know what, I'm okay with that, then that's your choice. No judge. But if you're asking this question because deep down you want to be married, you want to have a family, then the decisions you make now have to align with that. Because at the end of the day, this whole conversation comes back to one thing: alignment. Not just what.
Let me say this. Yeah. Let me say this. These women talk all these standards and stuff and this and that. These women don't know shit about a relationship. See, that's going to be their rude awakening. Even if they did meet this guy, a lot of them aren't going to be able to maintain a relationship. See, these are the muscles that you build when you're in your teens and 20s. How to maintain a relationship, the ups and downs, compromising. These are the skills you develop when you're young. She's too stubborn and bullheaded and stuck in her ways at this point, and too accomplished and been in her own lane for too long to really acquire the traits that it would take to make a 50-year relationship work. It's possible, but the older she gets and longer she goes without actually going through the trials and tribulations of a real relationship, the less likely she'll ever do it successfully. That's what these women don't touch on. They so focused on, well, what does he make? What does he this? Do he got a career? Is he cool with the fact that I'm a boss bitch and all that? Forget all that. Even if we got past all that, you're not relationship material. So you still gonna run into a wall either way.
You want to be married, you want to have a family, then the decisions you make now have to align with that. Because at the end of the day, this whole conversation comes back to one thing: alignment. Not just what you say and not just what you prefer, but what your actions, standards, and timeline actually produce. Sometimes people are dating resumes instead of dating direction. And now let me be clear. This does not mean ignore red flags. Not every man has discipline, and not every man has a plan, and not every man will execute. But there is a difference between empty potential and proven trajectory. Now, let's talk solutions, because simply saying the dating pool is small is not a solution. And for you and women like you, you don't necessarily have to lower your standards. I know that's like a curse word in these spaces, but you do have to understand what your standards cost. So if you want a black man, high income, high education, no children, lifestyle alignment, attraction, compatibility, you also have to remember that he has to choose you back.
Yeah, it's over. No. What up, Lauren? What up, Lauren? See, the thing is, I mean, good people are rare. I look, I'm not gonna say she's a good person. I don't know, but let's just hypothetically say she is. It's hard enough to just find somebody who's a good human, let alone make a certain amount, lifestyle alignment, this and that, height and that. Just finding a good person is hard enough. So the solution should be she should just focus on that. He ain't hideous looking, he has a job, and he's a good human. That's step one. And then she has to learn from scratch, basically, how to get along with a man, how to compromise with a man, how to appreciate a man. She got a hard uphill battle ahead of her if she want to get her desired result. But the last thing she need to be worried about right now is if he makes 6 figures and if he's 6 feet and this and that.
No children, lifestyle alignment, attraction, compatibility, you also have to remember that he has to choose you back. That is a very tight funnel. Not impossible, but very precise. So in my opinion, you have two options. You either keep all your standards and accept a smaller pool and longer timeline, or you adjust one variable. Not all, just one. Maybe
Medium, man. It's medium. Okay, one of your options said just keep all your standards and just know you might be waiting longer. No, keep all your standards and be waiting forever. Or AKA keep all your standards and never get what you looking for. That's the realistic option. Keep your standards and buy a dog and die alone, or lower most of your standards and see if you can grow into a decent woman and a decent human to still appreciate that man despite him not having X, Y, and Z. I that second one, the latter, is highly unlikely. Highly unlikely. She will never respect a man who's less accomplished and less financially well off than she is. So she's cooked. And she's not fit for a man who is all those things better than her. So she's in the AD loop. She will forever be in the AD loop, and I hope she finds bliss in the abyss.
They get stuck in this endless trap of all the men I want don't want me, and or are already married, or the men who want me, I don't want them. So they end up like stuck in the middle.
Do you act?
I'll be right back, y'all. I'll be right back.
but very precise. So in my opinion, you have two options. You either keep all your standards and accept a smaller pool and longer timeline, or you adjust one variable. Not all, just one. Maybe that's geography. Maybe that's timing. Maybe that's being open to trajectory instead of a finished product. Because equal doesn't always mean identical income. Sometimes it means shared vision, aligned values, and complementary roles. And the reality is this: this isn't just tougher for you, it's also tougher for black men at that level too, because they're navigating the same small pool just from the other side. So the challenge isn't that those black people don't exist, it's that both sides are looking for alignment in a very competitive space. So I'll leave you with this: it's not that there aren't enough black men, and it's not that there aren't enough qualified black women within that small pool. It's that when you reach the top percentage of anything, your dating pool doesn't get larger, it actually gets precise. And when you understand that, now you can move with intention instead of frustration. conversation, because at the end of the day, this isn't a shortage problem for you and those black women in that 1%. It's actually a precision problem because there are so many other variables that go into selecting the proper mate. And with this video, I'm actually only scratching the surface because I didn't mention character, I didn't mention integrity, and all those other variables that can be put into whatever type of man that you want. But selecting a lifelong partner was never supposed to be easy. And I think you're educated enough and successful enough to find the right mate within that pool. And I wish you all nothing but the best.
My personal experience.
Okay, makes sense. Oh yeah. Tell us for coming.
Hi everyone. I'm here to talk about the dating stuff. I guess a little bit about me is I spent a decade on Wall Street. Didn't really work with a woman, mostly with men. And I lived in New York City and still do. And somehow I find myself having opinions on every single dating topic. I guess I have 4 sisters, and I've just seen marriages, divorces, hearing stuff on the street in New York, my own experience, and yeah, here I am.
Cool. Thank you, Alia. And Lindsay, please introduce yourself for us. Thank you so much for coming.
Yeah. So, okay, I want to touch on 2 things. Unfortunately, most women are destined to lose. Let me not word it like that. Unfortunately, most women are destined for unhappiness. Whether they settle down at 20 with their high school sweetheart, or whether they, 42 still dating in Manhattan. You know, most women's how can I put this? Most women's fate by 40 is the same. Fucking miserable for one reason or another. That's the thing. So there's some women who just are happy people and they're gonna find a way to be happy. Those women exist, small percentage. But let's just for this episode, let's just say 20%. They're gonna find a way to be happy. They're just happy people. But for the other 80% of women, yeah, same fate by the time they're 40. Fucking miserable. The difference is some women actually build the life and the okay, let me put it like this. The difference is some women actually build a life on the road to misery. They build a real family on the road to misery, and then some women don't. So those are the 2 categories. That's about to be my new thing on the channel. Most women end up miserable, but the difference between the 2 groups is one group of women build a family on the road to misery, and the other doesn't. Just that's the difference between most women. But um the 40 fate. Yeah, that's a good term to coin, the 40 fate. So let's talk about this real quick. I'm assuming that Olia and Lindsay are both single, I'm assuming. And I don't know if Dustin Stockton is single, but let's just assume he is. He looks single. He looked like a caveman. And I'm not just saying that because he's white, just the crazy beard. So let's talk about this real quick. Lindsay and Olya, I'm gonna take a wild guess, would never fucking date Dustin. They don't even need to know much about him. Just off the look of him, their mind is made up. Now they probably would date Moff. Moff is such a douchebag name. They would date Moff or Orion, and honestly, that's probably why they called up. They damn sure didn't call up because Dustin. They didn't see Dustin on the screen and say, "I gotta cam up," because Dustin that fan, that background. He's not. I mean, I don't think he's ugly, but let's just look at it from the female perspective. He's not particularly handsome. He doesn't have a nice outfit on. He doesn't look fit. Look like he could be sick. His background don't look fancy. If he had his own red pill show, he wouldn't have no worries of becoming like Kevin Samuels or Ant. Women aren't calling into this. Clearly no status, clearly no money, clearly not handsome, clearly not well dressed. I don't care what he's saying out of his mouth. Women aren't taking the time to call into his show based off those things. So anyway, I want to go back to my point. Um Olya and Lindsay aren't better than Dustin. See, that's the thing. Society would say they are, but I know the reality. Dustin would be doing these washed up bird brain, fuck deranged bird brains a favor by taking on their bullshit. Let's just say both of these women earned 100K a piece. He would still be doing a favor if they took care of him financially. Let's just say, I don't know about Dustin, but let's just say he's just a basic regular dude with common sense, a good head on his shoulder, and some decent morals. That's it. That's all. He would be doing them the favor if they paid all the bills. And if he never had sex with them, or if he couldn't even get it up, he would still be doing them the favor. Even though if in their mind, he would be bringing down their social status. But as far as like practical things, yeah, he would be doing them the favor. And when we just look at the net of things, not how it look, absolutely.
I guess like
hospitality for many years in New York.
Lindsay, please introduce yourself for us. Thank you so much for coming.
Thanks for having me. Really excited to be here. Lindsay Ditzberry, I have experienced dating firsthand in New York City and Miami for many years. I'm currently residing in Miami, but yeah, I've been in.
You're cooked, man. Yeah, Miami. No, you're in Miami too. You're cooked. Yeah, like you. No, and I already know. Like she talking highfalutin. She want the man and all that, Mr. Miami and all that. It ain't happening, baby. You better shoot your shot at Dustin. Seriously. Like as funny as that may sound to some people, that's a lot of these washed up women's best option. And you know what's crazy? Dustin may be a great guy. We really don't know anything, absolutely nothing about Dustin. But the point I want to make is a lot of these women would actually be shocked at how much they might enjoy being with a Dustin. I mean, they would have never given him a chance, in everyday real life. But in Bizarro world, my Bizarro world that I'm coming up with now, they probably would be shocked at how much they like him. And who knows, Dustin might be good in bed. There's some Dustins out there that are shock abroad. um, but no, seriously. See, these female losers, they look good on paper. They probably, and some of them look really good. I mean, these women look average at best, but let's just say Lindsay and Olya were tens. They're definitely not tens, but let's just say they were. Say they were tens with great careers and impressive diplomas, right? but they're 35 and 40 and single. That, that- that's a 2 on the dating market for a serious relationship. Let's just say 40. Let's just say 40. A hot 40-year-old blonde who makes 6 figures, who been getting pumped and dumped since she was 15 and single. That's like a 3 or 4 on the dating market. I mean, I could think of worse resumes or worse scenarios or whatever, but that's low on the dating market. That's definitely below a 5. When we talking about actually staying with somebody for decades and moving in with them and actually living day-to-day life with them, no. Now let's look at Dustin on the other hand. Not the richest guy, not the fittest guy, not the most handsome guy, but let's think about practicality. He might be very responsible, very kind, considerate, good with money. He shows up on time. He's dependable. That's a 10. When we talk about day-to-day life, I mean, I ain't gonna say it's a 10, but I'm like, when we talk about practical day-to-day life, that's a high value man. Even if he ugly and broke and his PP don't work. All those other characteristics I laid out are incredible for day-to-day life. So for a serious long-term relationship, he like a 7 or 8. And they're a 3 or 4. Even being pretty, 6 figures, fancy degrees, high social status.
A different kind of world modeling in New York City and working in hospitality for many years. And then the past 5.5 years I've spent in tech sales. So different kind of careers and different experiences with that, and definitely different dating scenes between New York and Miami. So excited to dive into these questions and topics.
So ladies, do you, Lindsay and Oya, good to see you again. Do you think New York is typical of dating scenes, or the people that like are in the quote unquote dating pool? Would you consider New York typical? Because I actually scooped up a New Yorker, brought her out of New York, and I just have to say, the stories I've heard, it doesn't line up to me with like most other places.
I would say that it looks very similar as the rest of the United States. It just has 10 more years. So like in the rest of the US, you are, when you're 30, I feel like in New York City, that's like 40 or 39. So you have this illusion of extra time and you live this elongated like youth. And everything else that comes with that is the difference in New York versus the rest of the US. That's just how I've been kind of witnessing it. I'm curious what Lindsay has to say.
See, this is why you can't have because men and women live in 2 completely different worlds as far as dating. So to get a woman's perspective on the New York dating scene, listen. Look, I've only been in New York once. I'm just guesstimating. Okay. Let's put it like this. The dating market after 25 everywhere is essentially the same. A meat market for top 5% men. That's all it is. Like, let's just make this real simple. Women who are wife, let me see. Bear with me. I know I'm. This is cringy and convoluted, and I keep pausing. Y'all should be used to it by now, because I'm freestyling. Women who are marriage minded they have completely different dating experiences than all the other women, even if they failed a few times with a couple of relationships. So let's put it like this. Good women never date more than 3 men in their whole life. Let's put it like that. Good women find their husband within 3 tries after 18. Let's just say we don't count anything that happened before 18. Good women don't have more than 3 boyfriends after the age of 18. Fucking period. I mean, obviously there's exceptions to the rule, but that's the rule, in my opinion. You know, good marriage-minded women, they're not doing all this dating. They get snatched up quick, and even if a couple relationships don't work out, one of the first 3 do. They're not doing all this dating. They figure it out between essentially 15 and 25. Women who are still on the market after 25, you're officially just part of the meat market for top 10 percenters. Okay, so let's put it like this. Do I need to bring out my notepad again? Or my paint my paint program? What? For you? Oh. Okay, anyway. Um Let me see if I can whip out the Here, I'll be right back.
They get stuck in this dealerless trap. Because on average, they just all the men I want good, genuine people to be around. And or they're good to look at. They're good to work in brothels. Or the men they're good to try to take over a bar. So they end up like stuck in the middle. As like they're a waitress, or they're on a call center call or something like that. But anything other than that, we really don't want 85% of y'all around. Just leave. You know, like it's sad to say, but it's the reality on it.
All right. Yeah. So this is one group. These are good people. They're in the relationship circle. They're in relationships before 25 or shortly after 25, 26. I'm just going to call those the good people. Obviously there's bad people in that mix too. But then we have, we'll just call these IR, the good people in relationships. 25 and under. Okay? And then let's just say this circle over here. This is top tier dudes. Then we have ding bats. And then we have see. Then we have this is the single market we dealing with here. This is they're in relationships. Out here is the single market. These are dingbats. These are top tier dudes. So then we have the undesirable men, the UDs, out single over 25 on the dating market because they're undesirable for one reason or another. They're too nice, they're ugly, they're short, they're too beta, don't know how to dress. For whatever reason, women consider them to be undesirables. Um, just yeah, flat out undesirable. And then we have, I'll give another group here. I'll call them the mids, the mid men, the MMs, the M&Ms, the M&Ms. Um, then let's do another group. This is the good women still on the market after 25. Small percentage. Let's just make a circle for them. These GWs, they're not participating in this mess out here. They're going to keep to themselves, but eventually, between 25 and 30, they're going to find their way over to this box. To be honest. You know, they were the anomaly. Somehow they slipped through the cracks, but they're going to find their way here. Even if it takes to 30, 35. They're a good person. They slipped through the cracks somehow. They're going to find their good man. The dingbats. Okay. The undesirables, they'll use them when they can from time to time. They'll use the undesirables from time to time for a ride to the top tier dude's house. So the dingbats are chasing single over 25. They're chasing commitment from top tier dude, or they're just having fun with top tier dude until, 35. Or you got the ones who, well, let's be real. Good women are chasing them too. But the thing about good women, they're genuinely willing to rock with the mid men too. They might go after a couple of top tier dudes, but they're actually intelligent. So when they see how the top tier dudes is moving, they're like, you know what, I'm cool. I don't even want to deal with that nonsense. And they go over to the mid men and they end up in this box. You see that pathway? Mid men to good people in relationship box. Okay. So hold on, let me see what we working with. We got 9 people in here. What up, everybody? Let me see what my Rumble looking like. All right, 2 people in Rumble. So all this is dating market over 25. Okay. So the undesirables, they're becoming miserable, jaded, depressed because they're chasing dingbats and hitting the wall. Boop, getting used, hitting the wall, getting played, getting laughed at. Boop. So they're going red pill, manosphere, incel, black pill. That's what's happening with them. A couple of the mid men are moving up to the good people relationship box. But let's talk about this again real quick. The good women to mid men pipeline. Right? These women are gone pretty quick. These women are gone by 30. They found their way to the mid men pipeline to marriage in a real life. So these women are gone pretty quick. And they out the mix anyway. Even if they still are on the market, they're not like at the bars, the clubs. They not super heavy on dating apps. Because see, for good women, dating apps work quick. They have realistic standards. They find a mid man pretty quick. And boom, going to the successful box. All these motherfuckers right here are on the verge of suicide. And that's just gonna be their fate. They're either gonna self-actualize or commit figurative or literal suicide. Figurative suicide, like social suicide, they're just gonna become hermits or actually delete themselves or self-actualize and become something and just move on with life. So they're kind of off. They're out of this too. Good women get out of this quick, and these men aren't a factor either way, really. So what are we left with? The dynamic we talk about all the time. This is the dating market over 25. What are we left with? The Chad and Brittany debacle. Dingbats trying to get what they want from top tier dudes. And top tier dudes is blocking them, blocking them, blocking them, blocking them, blocking them, blocking them, blocking them. Which leaves dingbats depressed, bitter, angry, mad at all men on podcasts trying to figure it all out. after it's way too late. And don't get me wrong, every once in a while a dingbat will actually lock down a Chad or Tyrone and go over to the box, but these are really good people. And these marriages are doomed to relationships, but I will call them marriages. They're pretty much doomed to. So this here that I'm circling, top tier and dingbat, this is the main dynamic on the date market over 25. Dingbats trying to lock down top tiers and top tiers trying to duck it at all costs. That is the dating market over 25 and 30. Fucking period. That wasn't too convoluted, was it? So with that being said, that's basically where these two women are going to be coming from, no matter what way you cut it. They look about 30, 35. Oh, let me pull up one more dynamic. Can I clear this? Remember the dingbats were right about here. Dingbats. I got one more dynamic I want to show y'all. In mid men. And this group top tier dudes. End zone. See, this happens too. A dingbat will pick a mid man early in high school or college. I mean, maybe she kind of liked him, but not really, really. Maybe family pressure. For whatever reason, she did actually go with the mid man and get in the end zone. But she's itching to get out here in the BS. She's still itching to get back out here. And she usually does. Break up the family, whatever, and get back out here to Chad Chase. So when you're dealing with a 35-year-old single woman on the dating market on podcast trying to figure out where it all went wrong, she's either this chick who's just been doing this since 15, 16, 17. And see, let me do another one real quick. So, well, let me finish that thought. So, if a woman 35 and single on a dating market, she either went this route, bloop, 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 back out to Chad Chase, or she's been Chad chasing the whole time since high school, or there's one more. There's three options if she's single over 35. Those are the first two. The last one is I was Chad chasing from 15 to 25, 26. And then I'm like, this isn't going anywhere. I'm getting older. I want kids. So she'll go from here to this slant to up here. She'll do one of those. A bloop, 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 bloop. Okay? Just to get what she wants so she can say she was married so she can get her kids. But even she is coming back to Chad Chase. So those are the three options for 35-year-old women and up who are single on the dating market. Those are the three routes that they got here. Well, those are the three routes to get back here, which is washed up on podcast. Those are the three routes women go to get washed up on podcast.
Yeah, I mean, I see it as it's definitely a melting pot of the world in New York City, right? So you're getting people from every place. But the conversations that I have with my friends that are, spread out all over the US, it seems to be the same common theme of struggles, let's call it, with the dating world today.
Okay, let's just do this. Okay. Well, dating is easy for women. Let's start over. Dating is easy for women. So let's do this. Okay, so dingbats. Mid-men. But let me Okay, end zone. Top tier dudes. Okay. I'm gonna call this group. I'm gonna add another group. High value mid men. Meaning he technically is a high status. He a handsome dude. He a tall dude, but he's kind of a beta. So he's still going some type of mid man category. He's not like the tall, handsome, alpha minded dude, but he technically is kind of high value. You know what I mean? In a lot of areas. So when women say dating is hard in any capacity, they're talking about this dynamic only. I keep hitting the Chad and Tyrone wall. Don't mess with that, baby. I keep hitting the Chad and Tyrone wall. Anytime women talk about dating struggles, dating difficulty, this is what it is. He's not committing to me, or he is committing to me, and I'm not what he need. I'm not what would work with this type of man for whatever reason. I'm too hard headed. I argue too much. It's not that all these women just can't get commitment from Chad and Tyrone. A lot of these women can get commitment from Chad and Tyrone, but they're not good women, so that don't work out. And he got options. He's not just gonna take what he can, just take whatever he can get. But when women talk about dating struggles, they're talking about one of these paths. I just can't get commitment from them, or when I get commitment from them, I can't keep them because I'm not a good woman. Those are dating. That's the only thing women mean when they ever talk about dating difficulties or dating struggles. Because dating is easy for women. Every woman can easily win in dating if she just do one of these, bloop, one of these two types of mid men to the end zone. It's an easy route. Bloop, end zone, won the game. No woman struggles with dating if she just take this easy route. Bloop, bloop, bloop. Here you go. Bloop, bloop, bloop. Bloop, bloop, bloop. Any difficulty, struggle, or hard times is one of these two routes. Just wanted to clear that up.
Is the difference in New York versus the rest of the US. That's just how I've been kind of witnessing it. I'm curious what Lindsay has to say.
Yeah, I mean, I see it as it's definitely a melting pot of the world in New York City, right? So you're getting people from every place. But the conversations that I have with my friends that are, spread out all over the US, it seems to be the same common theme of struggles, let's call it, with the dating world today.
I also lived in New York for about 11 years, and I lived there from 2000 to 2011. So before dating apps really start to take off. And Manhattan was Tinder before Tinder existed. Like, that's always been the case. Like, you have the most ambitious, brightest, most beautiful people come from all over the world to New York. If you have something to prove and you have a dream, you end up in New York at some point. And all of these highly ambitious, accomplished, competitive people are occupying like 10 square miles of space. And the dating scene has always been extremely competitive. Like, again, before the apps, we like to blame the apps, but you could be at a bar in the Lower East Side back in the day, and a girl would be like, hey, I like what you have, but I wish you were 2 inches taller. And there's probably the same version of you like 2 blocks away. So it's extremely difficult to find long-term relationships because the optionality is seemingly infinite. And that's
Well, see, but here's the problem. Women don't feel like they should have to compete. I'm me. So Mr. 1%er and Mr. 0.5%er should just pick me out of these other 20 blondes who look just like me and act just like me. Because I'm me. That's where they struggle too. They don't want to compete. They don't feel like they should have to because I'm me. So yeah, I forgot what I was gonna say with the fucking the board, but yeah. But see, this whole time that they're going through all this, for the most part, they know that one of these guys are waiting in the raft or waiting in the wings. They always know they got one of these in the pocket while they going through this dumb cycle. Bloop, 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 bloop. They always have the comfort in a sense that one of these guys will always be waiting on them. But it gets to a point where even these guys aren't waiting on them anymore. And then all she would actually be left with is to either stay single or get a completely undesirable, not a mid man or a high value mid man. At, after 40, 45, I ain't gonna say that because they still be having options with one of these two dudes. I would say, there's, what is, I hate to say it. These guys over here that I'm circling, they do start to dwindle, but I hate to say it. Even women in their 60s and 70s, most of all women are still entitled to a guy like one of these guys waiting in the wings, even at 60 and 70. It does start to dry up, but pretty much all women do have one of these dudes still waiting until they pass away, which is what keep their ego thick.
That's what has been expanded beyond these really densely metropolitan areas with the dating apps, is the illusion of infinite options, which paralyzes choice and makes the opportunity cost of foreclosure too intense.
I hear that a lot, actually, and I've been saying this for the last 12 years I've been living in New York. It's true, but also in my own life that hasn't been true. I have never met a guy in New York and was like, you know what, I can find a 20% better version of you in the next 2 months, and so I'm gonna drop you. And I don't feel that the same thing has happened to me. So sometimes I wonder how much of people's experience is it is a common theme I hear from other people.
Okay. Let's see. Let's take it slow real quick. I'm trying not to stay on here too much longer, but let's take it a little slow. See, she's trying to, you know how I always say there is no good reason for a woman to be single after 25, but that's what they got to try to sell the dating market though. Let's just say 30. I'll say 30. There is no good reason for a woman to be single over 30. The best case scenario, she's a widow. And that's not really good for the next man, but it's better than the other options. But see, the struggle of woman is having to try to sell that I'm a gem that just fell through the crack for 15 to 20 years while actively trying to date. I just kept falling through the crack, but I'm a perfectly good gem. That's what women over 25 and 30 got to try to sell the dating market. And it's goofy. I mean, only a slow person would go for it. Well, let me not say that. But let's just stick to that. That's what they're trying to sell on the dating market. But it's a hard sell to a man with a brain. Because, as I'm about to point out, there is no. Okay, let me just break it down like this. She just said, well, that isn't my experience. I don't just keep dropping the guy to try to get 120% better the next day. So, what she's saying is the guys who she's dealt with and dealt with her in some type of way, she felt like for the most part they were good enough to have the family, the kids, and get down the road with somebody. So what does that leave? You weren't good enough, and they kept leaving you. But what she, because okay, by default, I mean, granted, when you get to know somebody, you get to know them in a deeper way, and maybe you found out more things about them as time went by, where they weren't good enough or this or that. But then the question becomes, well, why can't you get somebody who is good enough? You see what I'm saying? There's no way where you're gonna come out clean looking like the gem that just fell through the crack. You either aren't worth it, or you can't attract a man who is worth it, or you can and you can't maintain them. Single as a woman over 30, there's no way to have a positive looking resume, no matter what way you look at it. No matter what angle we go, it leads to you being dog crap on the dating market. You see what I'm saying? But she has to try to sell being a gem. But see, it's almost an impossible sell to this guy because he's experienced with women. He's seen this story time after time again. You're not going to sell it to top tier Chad or Tyrone that you're a gem on the dating market that fell through the cracks for 20 years. You're not going to convince this guy. He's just not. He's seen too much and knows too much. But you know who you can convince of it? Let's just start. Okay, so dingbat, modern dingbat. Top tier dudes. Okay, yeah. She's not gonna sell that horse poop to these guys. But she can sell that horse poop to one of these guys. Okay? But the older she gets, the harder it is gonna be to sell even to these guys. Because these guys have been seeing some things and going through some things, from 20 to 30, 30 to 40. They starting to gain some red pill awareness. That's why women can't stand the red pill, because we educating these dudes. These dudes already knew what it was from in-game experience. YouTube and the red pill start educating these dudes. So now it's just common knowledge in the zeitgeist that, yeah, over 30, they washed up, they've been getting run through. It's just common knowledge now. So it has never been harder for a modern it has never been harder for an average dingbat to sell purity and righteousness to these guys over here than it is right now. I'll say that. So, but she can still sell that to one of these goofballs over here. And see, he'll take it. He'll take it. Because a lot of these dudes still believe in the fairy tale. They think, oh, I just had one or two bad apples. They'll take it. But see, the older she get, and the more clearly damaged she is, it's so bad that you can even tell within the first couple of weeks of dating her, the less she's gonna be able to get past the first couple of dates with this guy, the high value mid. The older she get, the more damage she get. So her options start to kind of become just a regular mid. And he's so desperate. Yeah, he's just happy a woman is talking to him and screwing him. So he'll ignore a lot of the red flags.
So in my own life, that hasn't been true. Like I have never met a guy in New York and was like, you know what? I can find like a 20% better version of you in the next 2 months. And so I'm going to drop you. Like, and I don't feel that the same thing has happened to me. So sometimes I wonder like how much of people's experience is like, it is a common theme I hear from other people that I just have frankly not had experience with that.
I think that happens more unconsciously than consciously. I think some people are thinking, well, this guy doesn't make as much, or she could be a little bit more attractive. But the vast majority of people, they vote with their feet. And we see that people aren't getting married. They're not having kids. They're not entering into long-term relationships in blue cities. And so they might not be consciously thinking that, but there's something that's preventing them from that's holding them back.
See, I'm just going to throw this out there. Is it a quantity over quality problem, though? Like, I feel like New York takes men out of a lot of the lifestyle choice, right? Like, I'll never forget the first time, like, I went to New York. Like, just, you spend all your time doing groceries. There almost is no, like, manly work. And, like, the corporate ambition stuff we're talking about, I feel like that corporate culture also, in a lot of ways, neuters men from being men. And so, like, I'm curious if you feel that there's an over quantity of good men in New York, or if it's the other way around. You have a lot of like, call them metrosexuals, who are like, a little bit more effeminate, a little bit more into their feelings, afraid of like tripping up HR and that kind of deal. It's always been my hypothesis.
I guess, I mean, look, in my own personal experience, sometimes you're with this guy and he seems feminine, maybe, to some people. But I've also seen people like become very aggressive with a cab driver, and he's like, I worked for 16 hours, and that aggression has to go somewhere. So I would say not. I guess like in this debate, I'm already seeing that I'm going to take a more positive side of dating in New York, just because I haven't seen maybe that much bad stuff. It hasn't.
Well, okay, listen, Olia. Well, okay, if everything's been so hunky dory for you, why aren't you with anybody? See the contradiction there? Dating in New York has been so great for me, but I'm single. Can't make this stuff up, folks.
Happened to me. I found like I've had great relationships here, and the men I've dated have been manly and took charge and knew how to make decisions and smart, ambitious, and cultured.
So you were the problem. You see, women don't think that far ahead. Like they just talk. Like the common sense follow up question to that was, so were you the problem? I mean, if they were so great. I mean, the common sense follow up question is, well, why didn't it work out with those guys? And that's when we're really gonna hear the speech impediment and stuttering and shit.
To me, I found like I've had great relationships here, and the men I've dated have been manly and took charge and knew how to make decisions and smart, ambitious, and cultured.
So,
am I lucky or what?
Orion, what would you say?
I would say that Olia seems to be fairly attractive and still fairly young. And I also don't necessarily want to pry into her personal life, but I wonder if she's ended up where she wants to be. Like, she's dated lots of wonderful men, and if she wants to just have experiences for 6 months and 2 years, it's none of my business. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, it's fine. We're here, so I'll just be honest, and it's more interesting. I've had great men. I think that maybe I wasn't ready for the serious thing when that was presented.
Can't make this stuff up. So back to what I was saying. Well, I don't know if I touched on this episode. So remember I said the other group of women who are fucking with Chad and Tyrone, some women can get commitment from them. So then this doesn't get talked about enough. A lot of these dingbats can get commitment from Chad and Tyrone, but they like riding on the carousel with Chad and Tyrone. Or they also like hanging out with their friends when they want to hang out with their friends. Being in a committed relationship cramps these bitches' style. So I don't talk about that enough. It's not that a lot of these women can't get a top tier dude that they would think is the bee's knees, but he would cramp their style. That patriarchy, in a sense, would cramp their style. And they like fucking different dudes and dating it. They like all of that. You know? But they think they have unlimited tries with this guy. And I feel like, let me touch on this too. Women who actually got commitment from Chad and Tyrone, it is that less likely that she will ever be able to go here and be content in the end zone with one of these guys. Now, versus the dingbats who chased Chad and Tyrone for 15, 20 years and never really got commitment from them, she has a better chance of going this route and actually making something halfway work out with one of these guys in the end zone. But this woman here who actually got commitment from Chad Tyrone, she'll never let that go. She'll never let go of that regret. See, this dingbat here who never got commitment from her, she learned firsthand that I never could get commitment from him. So is there regret? There's some regret of like, maybe if I would have did something different, but it's not deep as the regret of, no, I actually did get those guys and fumbled them. She really gonna make this guy life a living hell in the mid area if she settled for one of them. So that's actually the worst type of woman to get with post wall, is the woman who actually did get what she want and then drop the fucking touchdown pass.
dated
that
lots of
question more
wonderful men,
directly?
and if she wants to just have experiences for 6 months and 2 years, it's none of my business. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, it's fine. We're here, so I'll just be honest, and it's more interesting. I've had great men. I think that
Is she the only one that's gonna be able to fucking talk on this? What? How far are we in with nobody else really talking? Speed it up, bitch.
maybe I wasn't ready for the serious thing when that was presented to me in life, and I feel like I've turned the corner now, and I'm in my dating world. I'm kind of beginning to date again and being open to people, and so the next person that I meet that meets characteristics similar probably to my father, which I hold in very high esteem. I am very open to being more serious. I've seen also, I've been to, here's a story. I've been to a club where it was just me and 10 models, and in New York City, if you don't have interesting stuff to say, it can be brutal because I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I get more attention than I should. I'm not that I'm cute. I'm not that attractive.
Oh gosh, I could just tell her energy is frantic and neurotic. This is cringe already. I mean, you could just tell she's a complete train wreck mentally. You could just tell. All the people on the panel are internally cringing. Like, ma'am, you're spiraling in front of all of us.
Maybe it was just working on Wall Street and being comfortable with men. I don't know. You guys should.
O'Brien, why are you smiling?
I was looking at Moff, and I think I have some ideas of what might be going through his head, but I don't want to speak for him. I mean, I hear this story a lot. So I do consultations with folks all over the world now, mostly men, but not exclusively. I talk to a lot of women. Men come to me with a whole host of problems. Maybe they're not finding the women that they want to date. Maybe they're having trouble with their wife. Maybe they want career advice, sometimes even philosophical or even spiritual counsel. Women who hire me always want to know how to get a husband. And sometimes I think women have a lot of incorrect beliefs about men, and they often don't make the same effort to figure men out that men, for better or for worse, expend to figure women out. And one of these.
Oh yeah, they smiled. You see, they both of them smiled at the bottom of the screen because they believe. Look, I'm me. I don't gotta figure men out. Come get me. Come jump through my hoops to get me because I'm the prize. Why the fuck would I have to figure you out, motherfucker? You're lucky I'm talking to you. That's a lot of women's mentality. They've never had to. I mean, think about this. To do a complete 180 on something that you've been believing your whole life for 35 years in any subject, let alone something big like this, damn near impossible.
Finding the women that they want to date. Maybe they're having trouble with their wife. Maybe they want career advice, sometimes even philosophical or even spiritual counsel. Women who hire me always want to know how to get a husband. And sometimes I think women have a lot of incorrect beliefs about men, and they often don't make the same effort to figure men out that men, for better or for worse, expend to figure women out. And one of these illusions that women tend to operate under is that men are easy until they want to get married. Like, men are easy for sex. And a woman who has had casual, short-term relationships can basically have the run of the farm, as it were. But that's very different from securing a lifetime or a long-term commitment from a man that she's actually attracted to. The same man will give her sexual access to him, but might withhold commitment access. And women who finally get to the point where they're ready, when I always examine their relationship history, they've met men who were ready before them, who were ready to wife them up and take them out, but they weren't. And I think they have these experiences and they think, I have so much abundance. This is just me. This is easy. But with each passing year, it becomes more and more difficult. With each form a relationship, it becomes less attractive for the next man. That's just the way that men perceive and men experience things. And women can, of course, understand that and either become offended or use that to their advantage. But
no, they don't. Look, these women know they're train wrecks and not worth it. Let's start there. I already told y'all what the game is. The game is to trick one last dude into thinking I'm worth it. That's the name of the game. This woman I just called a train wreck. She knows she's a train wreck. She knows she's not going to be a net positive to any man's life. High value, low value, ugly, short, whatever. So women are the red pill. Women, they don't have to, like, how can I put this? They already know this shit instinctively that we had to come up with a red pill to teach men.
in general, people get married. The game of marriage in particular, long-term commitment, is like a game of musical chairs. You remember everyone's like walking around the chairs while the music plays and the music stops, and then someone tries to grab the first available chair and sit down. And anyone who can't find a chair is removed from the game. Basically, people get married when they're ready to stop dating. That's when the music stops. When they're ready, they don't want to go out to the club. They want to
see. Let's break that down real quick. Men, I mean, okay, dating is brutal for 90% of men. The 10%, they just get pussy thrown at them, whole different ball game. But for not like 90% of men, dating's a real struggle. On the effort, the time, the disappointments, the this, the that, the getting played, getting laughed in your face. So, in my opinion, 90% of the men are willing to get that humiliation ritual over with as fast as possible. But women, on the other hand, it's the opposite. It's a smorgasbord. Free dates, attention, good D. Yeah, they ain't trying to settle down until they ugly. Ideally. Like that's why I said the women who were good women, they settled down before 25. They didn't want to get pumped and dumped by a bunch of tall, handsome dudes. So they cashed out in their prime. The women who don't cash out in their prime are women who are enjoying riding the cock carousel. That's why they didn't cash out. So they like, let me keep riding this cock carousel, getting the free dates, the dinners, the attention, the status in the club until I get old. And then I'll settle down for some doofy motherfucker. Like, okay, for women like Oya, if she looked 22 forever, she would just ride the cock carousel forever. Well, I take it back, because at some point, that shit start weighing on your mind at some point. But how can I put this? Like, if women stay looking 22 forever, they would never fully act right in a relationship. Even when their mind got tired of the club and bar and their mind got tired of getting pumped and dumped by top tier dudes, their looks wouldn't allow them to act like a decent human being in a committed, stable, boring relationship. It just wouldn't.
want to find someone that they can just sit at home in their PJs with and watch Netflix. They don't need the sensory stimulation. They want something else. Like their priorities change, their interests change, and they say, okay, I'm ready to sit down. That's when people get married, and they don't choose their best option. They choose a good enough option, which is like what's within arm's reach when the music stops. Now, the issue is the music stops for people at different times. Some people, the music stops at 22. Other people, the music stops at 52. But until that happens, they're going to keep walking around. They're just going to keep going around and going around. Or they go around for too long and they can't grab a chair, and they're kind of eliminated from the standings. That's why people get married. And you've decided, it sounds like, that now you're ready. But you probably aren't as...
Say it, Orion. Say
the same optionality.
Look at my face. Look at my face, everybody. Look at my face, everybody. Look at Dustin face, everybody. They're like, oh, careful there, Orion. Careful there. You look. God bless her. Like, I'm sure she's done her damage and done her evil in her day, but still, I got grace for her. God bless Oya, but she is batshit crazy. You could just look at her. She is a fucking train wreck and a mess. I wish her peace. I don't wish her a man. I don't want her to destroy some man's life. I wish her peace and happiness in life, but I don't wish her a man.
That you might have enjoyed 10 years ago, it may not be present for you today. That's just
Not
kind of
true.
what happens.
I mean, I hear that a lot. I'm 36. I hear that a lot. It's actually not true. I was going to just add to, like, just for clarity for our listeners and everybody here, a bit about me so you kind of know where I'm coming from. I don't really date.
You're the same dingbat. See, I love it when they think they're different. I love it when, oh no, you haven't heard my story. All you bitches is pretty much the same. I mean, even if not the same, it's 3 archetypes at best. Yeah. Look at everybody's face, everybody. They're like, oh, wait, what? Everybody's face is like, other than Lindsay, because she's blinking, but everybody else's face is like, huh? Or however, Tim to the Tool Man Taylor, Shaggy, whatever. That was a horrible Scooby, but y'all know what I'm trying to get to.
Date men who, maybe part of the reason why I've had these experiences is because I don't really entertain men who aren't serious, in a sense, like they don't know who they are, they're confused, and maybe that's why I've had good relationships with men and continue to do, like, I'm kind of seeing somebody now, and we're talking about like he's just deciding about serious things, whether we're compatible and this and that. And it's really similar to a conversation I had when I was 25, and I was having those conversations. I had a lot of family stuff that happened that took me out of the dating world for like 6 years. It wasn't really my choice, and
First off, none of this matters. I mean, the net is still what it is. Like, there's no, like, regardless of all that, you are what you are. So let's just say, she had to take care of a sick relative for 6 years, which, I mean, I get it. I mean, yeah, that can, like, if you got to take care of a sick relative for, like, full time, that you can't really date. I don't even know if it would be fair to date. But she's 36. I mean, but ma'am, let's just say she had to take care of a sick parent from 30 to 36. It was already pretty much over. You had 12 years before that to get it figured out. And see, the thing is, the dating market is brutal. Nobody cares if you had to take care of your sick mom. I care as a human, but I'm saying, if we talking about the dating market, nobody cares. You are what you are. You are old, washed up, batshit crazy 36-year-old woman doing podcasts. You taking care of a sick parent don't change that reality today, unfortunately. But but don't shed a tear, because there's still an inbox full of these dudes. Oh shit. These dudes that she could take at any moment. And she claiming she's talking to somebody right now and it's getting serious. No, because you came on here talking, the way you came on here was like you was a single woman and this and that. You would have mentioned it before this rubber start meeting the road, before you was starting to get roasted. You would have been mentioned, well, I'm in a relationship now. But if you in a happy relationship now, why would you be calling in a dating podcast to talk about dating in New York for singles when you in a relationship that's leading somewhere? See? So I don't even believe her.
talking about like he's just deciding about serious things, whether we're compatible and this and that. And it's really similar to a conversation I had when I was 25, and I was having those conversations. I had a lot of family stuff that happened that took me out of the dating world for like 6 years. It wasn't really my choice, and you can say like, you're not married, so here's like,
that's not a problem for me. I'm not married, but I don't want to be married. The question is, like, do you have what you want? And it's certainly not a gift to be married if you don't want to be, and it's certainly not a problem to be single if that's what you want.
Wait, let's
I'm
go
not trying to judge you on that count.
Orion, you are not married by choice. You do not want to be married by choice.
Oh yeah, like certainly not in a legal sense. I mean, I don't see really what advantage I gain from signing that contract. It seems like a lot of risk and next to no reward.
Okay, marriage, pro-marriage, no marriage. Dustin's married. Olya's not. Lindsay's not. I'm not. Mosh, are you married?
I'm not, but I would not. In the same way as Dr. Taraban, I wouldn't enter into a government contract or anything under those circumstances. But yeah, as far as like legal marriage or marriage on paper, yeah, I wouldn't do that.
I'm going to put you in the hot seat, Orion. Can you please give us a pitch for why men should not get married?
Okay. Well, we can. I can play this game with you. Well, like he just said it. There is no benefit. It's all to secure the woman's future. The pussy ain't gonna get better. Her femininity ain't gonna get better. Nothing is gonna improve or even stay the same when we get married. It's likely gonna get worse because she got me locked down now. So I mean, she got me by the balls now. She ain't gotta act right. She can take the kids, have my shit. There's nothing that's gonna incentivize her to do anything better once she locked me down, so to speak. It's all risk and no reward. Everything a man could get in marriage, he can get as his girlfriend. The only thing it does is secure her future if she decide to leave. It's the simple way to put it.
Well, I think that most women are going to marry men who can improve their quality of life. That's a rational decision. Most women don't dream of taking care of a man. So generally, the men that women choose to enter into marriage with tend to have more status, resources, and experience, etc., which means in the separation, in the event of a divorce, which is the most likely outcome of a marriage, the most likely outcome, that man will have to divest himself of a great deal of those assets and resources and potentially not be able to see his children, etc., etc. I think that there's nothing that a man gains by signing that contract that he can't have in a committed relationship between two consenting adults that have nothing to do with the federal government.
Dustin, do you want to take the other side of that? Thank you very much, Orion.
Sure.
Not really. I mean, to me, I'm anti-government. So having the government come give you the like, oh, you're official.
I totally forgot. Yeah. Dustin lives in his own sort of economy. So,
but listen, commitment and monogamy, right? Like that's a whole different story. And I think getting into a long-term committed relationship, raising a family, is by far the most rewarding thing most humans will ever accomplish.
False. Well, actually, I agree. The woman the woman fucks it all up. Raising kids, I would just change that to raising kids. The bitch makes it horrible. But I would say, raising a family, the bitch really ruins it. Seriously, I gotta say that again. The beautiful thing that could have been rearing a family and creating a legacy, the female gender ruins that. Not 100%, but I'm saying like, I'm gonna change whatever he said, commitment and monogamy and raising a family. I'm just gonna call it raising children. After age 7, the bitch can really move out and we'll come visit her and, then it'll be a beautiful experience in that scenario.
totally forgot. Yeah. Dustin lives in his own sort of economy. So,
but listen, commitment and monogamy, right? Like that's a whole different story. And I think getting into a long-term committed relationship, raising a family, is by far the most rewarding thing most humans will ever accomplish.
So Dr. Orion, O'Brien, would you say that you would be pro family without getting married? So say somebody's like, I'd like to have kids. You're okay with that?
Sure. I mean, it's happening anyway. Like in certain demographics, most children are born to unmarried parents in some demographics today in 2026. Like, it's already happening. What I'm suggesting is that we do so more intentionally and responsibly. Like, one of the arguments I make is one of the reasons why the divorce rate is gotten so high with marriage is that we've wanted it to be too many things. And we've conflated all of these ideas into a single construct. Like, just off the top of my head, there's the legal contract, there's a wedding, there's cohabitation, there's sexual exclusivity, there's the commitment of emotional investment, there's children. Like, we think that marriage has to come with all of those things. And that creates a great deal of stress and pressure. And just like any chain is only as strong as its weakest link, that tends to lead to the dissolution of the relationship.
We know who the weakest link is, by the way. And that's sad, because you think about, 2, 3 young kids and 2 adults. The weakest link shouldn't be one of the adults.
And that's a very one-size-fits-all relationship. For better or for worse, gays have kind of figured this out. The queer community has done this because there has been no models for what gay or queer relationships look like. So they have to explicitly negotiate, like, who do we tell? Is it open? Is it closed? Do we involve your family? Like, are they okay with this? Like, they have these explicit conversations about all these different aspects of the relationship. And ideally, it doesn't always happen, but ideally, that relationship then becomes custom tailored to the individuals involved. Versus the straight thing is, I just take the whole thing. It's like going to Costco. It's like, we're just going to do the entire bundle. And I think that one of the opportunities of the relationship crisis we're currently experiencing is that we can unbundle some of those things and be more intentional about which things we want to keep and which things don't quite fit with us, the actual 2 people involved in the relationship. And I think one of the futures we're going to see with respect to alt relationships or alt marriages is like platonic co-parenting. I think that's going to become more and more common. People want to be parents, but sometimes they can't find someone that they love or that they're sexually attracted to that they want to do this with, or the resources aren't right, or they don't want to get married, et cetera, et cetera. So I think we're going to see more of that, as people are going to decide that we're going to make a baby and be co-parents, but we're not going to get married, we're not going to live together, and we're going to take care of this kid.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, I could see that. That's rough. I mean, it's not rough. I guess it's what I advocate for. It's sad that women couldn't just be bearable enough to do the traditional thing. But I mean, I could see it. I could see it. Ideally, I don't know if I would say platonic. I think ideally it would be the man and woman possibly living apart, but still in a relationship, raising a family.
The understanding that I have with marriage, and I have a lot of, my family has a lot of unique, like my cousin doesn't believe in marriage. And then you have like, my families were married, my parents were married and divorced, etc. So I've seen it. I've kind of seen it all. I think that, Ryan, if you believe that people are just getting married because of musical chairs anyway, that's probably the average. But is there any cases where that's not the case, that you've seen working with all of these men or some women that actually got married because they really wanted to be together and they wanted to build together and have a family, and the marriage worked out more like a shackle where they're less likely to just do things based on emotional tendencies and say, I want a divorce, I'm leaving? It's like, you got to think about it a little bit because there's some paperwork involved.
I was with you until that last part, because it's like, who am I that I'm going to just back out of my commitments and responsibilities when I no longer feel like it. Like the thing about contracts is that you need contracts with people you don't trust. That's what actually enables us to do business. It takes so long to learn to trust somebody. I want to make a product. I need you to build it. I'm going to ship it.
All right, we're gonna end it. You can't. I mean, here's why you can't trust women. They're slaves to their emotions. I mean, how can I? You can trust certain women. I mean, you shouldn't trust most women. So let me put it like this. There's women I would trust to not steal money from me, for example. There's women I would trust to watch a child. Women I would trust to, what's the word? Borrow my car and bring it back, something like that. But a woman I would trust to love me and take care of me and stay committed to me in a relationship for 50 years, despite ups and downs and feelings changing and all that, absolutely fucking not. 'Cause remember what I said. If you get in a relationship with a woman at 20 and you stay with her till 80, she's gonna become 6 different women in that 60-year period. So maybe you trusted one of those versions, but the other one wasn't trustworthy, or the third one wasn't trustworthy. It's absolutely fucking not. All right, I'm out. I might come back on tonight. Y'all have a good one.